It began in 1987, marked by what it became known as the harmonic convergence. And that's when astronomers and scholars were seeing that our solar system was aligning with the galactic plane of the Milky Way, which is the central sun. And that only happens every 26,000 years. So based on their previous recollections and archaeological and anthropological evidences and findings, they realized that every time our sun comes into alignment with the center of the galaxy, we go through this field of energy called the photon belt. And what that field of energy does, it transforms the species into the next stage of human evolution. So those that are ready to ascend are going to evolve and become like superhuman like, and those that are not.
Oh, there's Rocky, and that's staying in the podcast. All right, welcome to Fame and Fortune with your host, Taylor Fortune, and...
BA Fame, good, and you?
With the total dramatic pause, I loved it. Yeah. All right, guys, today on the podcast, we have Starseed ambassador, who you already know, world famous author of Our Cosmic Origin, Ismael Perez. Ishmael, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me here again, Taylor.
Thank you. Thank you. BA, just fire in. You know how it works.
I'm so excited. I don't remember the last time the three of us, I want to say it was over like 2 months ago, right?
Probably 4 months ago or something.
Oh gosh, well I guess time's an illusion, so whatever. But yeah,
exactly.
Right? So I feel like it's been like too long. So I'm feeling the heat. That's why I wore red. I'm like, I had to do the red lipstick, the red outfit. I'm like, I got 2 beauts in here. Like, let's go. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and on a side note, I think we're BA's 2 favorite signs, Leo and Scorpio.
Yeah.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yes, I actually forgot. I don't know if we dove into that the last episode that we had you in, but I don't know if I knew what your sign was.
I'm a Scorpio.
So you're a sun sign Scorpio. So what other things do you have in your chart?
Well, I'm not too familiar with astrology. I guess this is where Taylor could help me out here. But I was born on the 1st of November, which is like a late Scorpio before Sagittarius. It's like maybe a week before Sagittarius or a few days. Is that how it works? Or
you know, it is, but I would have to take your birth time and birth location and put it into the program to find your moon and your rising. Those are the 2 that probably BA is after. You don't know your moon though, huh?
I do not.
Oh man, this is gonna be. I actually would like you to come on Cosmic Love at some point with Sarah and I, and we could do a full reading for you live, because I know with your fan base, there's other people that would want to know your astrology for their own reasons.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I have people individually DM me, what's your date of birth and your sign? And, you know, and I'm like, well, I don't know you. How do I know you're not going to do no magic on me or something?
Yeah, right. Well, and the moon sign is really interesting. Both the moon and the rising are interesting because, you know, your sun sign is your personality, your ego, your identity, all that stuff we associate with our zodiac sign. But the moon sign is your inner space, your emotions, how you feel, your subconscious energy. So very different than a sun sign, almost you could say the opposite. And then your rising sign is simply just how you present yourself to the world. Like, what are people's first impressions of you? Because I think, for example, you don't come across like a Scorpio. I'm sure you're very Scorpio once we get to know you, but you come across as something different. Almost like a Libra or something, like a Libra.
I was going to say Libra. He reminds me of my lawyer.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a compliment.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Like very intelligent, all about like their goals and ambitions and, you know, things like that.
And very, very stable.
Good to know.
Very stable.
Well, I am very well balanced. You know, I love to, I don't know, you know, every day I recreate myself and a better version of myself. I'm always looking to see what I could bring to the collective.
Yeah.
So,
It's a very scorpionic thing. We're always reinventing ourselves and shedding layers and things like that. That's how I'm the same way. I change myself up every single day, even if I tweak just a little bit here and there.
You're a Scorpio as well, Badass?
Yeah, I'm a Scorpio sun. And then speaking of our rising, how people look at us, I'm Aquarius rising, so that means I'm the star.
Okay.
So yeah.
She's a star.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that explains why you guys were in Hollywood, what, a month ago, and you guys were asked to do a photo shoot, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That was just so crazy. Yeah. So, and I'm just so excited because Sarah and I are going to visit Taylor in about a month. And, you know, we're going to go visit some friends that we met on Melrose and just go back to where we had our photo shoot. And there's like a new store opening up called Shoehorn.
Shoehorn, baby.
Yeah, it's like a crazy, like funky shoe store with the owners that did a photo shoot with us, and I'm just super excited to just meet new people. It'll be fun.
They love her. They love her. Like, she just walked in, and she's like discovered by these guys who own this store, and they're like, we're gonna make you a star. Come with us. We're gonna do a photo shoot. We're gonna splash you all over this place. It was great.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm sure she was loving every second of it, right?
It was so fun. And I don't
cool.
get into random cars with people either. I just want to put that out there. But they had the store, we had the photo shoot like across the street. So we got in the car with like the owner, and like I don't do things like that. Like, I always think someone's gonna like murder me, but their vibe was fine. I was with an intuitive goddess, Sarah, and you know, between both of our intuition, we're like, no, they're fine. You know what I mean? So we went across the street, and just Taylor walked in like, what the F is going on here? Like, I left you for like 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, and you guys are having a full-blown photo shoot, magazine ad. What's going on?
Yeah, but then they also pulled Taylor in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, they were gonna go.
Awesome.
They were gonna go do like street shopping on Melrose, just girl stuff, go buy clothes. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go grab a coffee, like, you know, check some emails. I go get my coffee. That's it. I'm just sitting. I ordered a coffee. I'm sipping it. They're like, hey, we're doing a photo shoot now. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, we met some people at the first store we went in, and they want us to now rep the store in some photo shoot and come back because they want to meet you too. I'm like,
nice.
Wow. These girls know how to, you know, they bring magic with them everywhere they go.
Yeah, it was fun.
I bet it was. 1 second, let me close the door.
Yeah. Of course, no problem. We'll be here waiting.
We'll be waiting. We'll be waiting.
Sorry, neighbors just got in.
Okay. So I have a question. So on the whole like modeling aspect, so I feel like for Taylor, Sarah, and I mean, I've modeled like for like years, and you know, Taylor, you've had your modeling thing. Sarah, it was her first time.
Yeah.
But you, our guest, you look like you would do something. So like, have you done any like modeling or anything like that?
I did, when I was in my early 20s and mid 20s, I did runway shows, photo shoots. The only thing is, because I was too into my philosophy and writings and deep knowledge, I just didn't want to go forward with that because it wasn't who I was. You know, I felt like I was selling myself, my soul, you know, to the industry that is controlled by a cabal. And when they told me, you know, we want to sign you up to Ford, you can go to Milan, you can go to New York, you have the height, you're chiseled. I mean, I'm 43 now. When I was 25, if I showed you guys a picture, I don't know, I think I do have a picture. I'll probably post it as a reminder, but I look totally, very, very chiseled in my prime. And
unlike now.
Yeah. I don't know what you're doing right now.
Well, thank you. I guess I'm aging well, but I appreciate the compliment, guys. But, you know, I turned it down because of my beliefs. I didn't feel like I wanted to sell out and take it further. And I mean, it was just an experience. It was a way to make some side money back then. And after a while, I didn't feel comfortable anymore. You know, not to mention two homosexuals threw a pass on me, and that just kind of did it for me. I was just like, okay, come on, I'm not gonna put up with this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's going to happen. I mean, I'm not saying that should happen. That's not okay whatsoever. That's just, you know, you didn't ask for that.
It's just there. Yeah.
But you know, it was really just one of those things where I was getting ready to walk on the runway and they were measuring me, but he kept touching me in my butt. And I was like, dude, come on, man, that's not right. And he was like, oh, but you have such a firm butt. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck, you know? So I just pushed him away. I'm sorry, guys. This is just one of the reasons one of the reasons why I didn't want to continue in this thing, because I knew that it was very corrupt. And I feel more so for the women in the industry because, you know, it's very cutthroat. And it's like a lot of these women are are being, harassed sexually, in a way to advance them to the next level, and that sucks. It's almost like they have to sell themselves.
Yeah,
for sure. That's
to
what
get
it's
to the
interesting.
top.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like the casting couch. It's interesting you mentioned Ford because I was offered a chance to model with Ford too, and I turned it down when I was
Nice.
22, and then
Oh, nice.
I ended up doing runway modeling also, and later in life after 22. It's just funny, like you and I have talked before about so many random parallel things from like the action movies we were raised on to the comic books to like even in our 20s like being offered a chance to model with Ford, and they were talking about New York and Milan and London, all that kind of stuff. And then
Yeah.
later in life I signed with a modeling agency in San Francisco and ended up doing runway, print, and then mostly like TV commercials and things like that. So
Oh, nice. I didn't get to that far, but that was the next level.
yeah,
That's interesting.
it wasn't that
Yeah.
busy in San Francisco. Like I was kind of a semi big fish in a fairly small pond up there. It's just so it was more tech based commercials, eBay and Dell and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. What about BA? I'm sure she's done a lot of, swimsuit catalogs or.
Well, not to brag or anything, but Ford approached me as well, guys. So
Really?
I'm just kidding. I turned them down. I just said no. I couldn't stop saying no. They just were getting so aggressive with me. No, I'm kidding. No, I never went with anything like Ford, but I did model for Dynasty Agency, which is in Boston. I modeled with them for years. And
Nice.
I feel like I've just been, I don't know, just like more comfortable, like in like, I don't know, bathing suits and things like that. But I've also done, high-end clothing and things like that. So I'm open to different things, but I don't do like anything new. That's not my style. And I feel like things like that will come back and like bite you in the butt, down the line if you have kids or things like that. So I would never want to put myself into any situation like that. Like as far as I go is pretty much like what I post on like my Instagram, and I'm proud of that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I told Ford I'm good with them. So
I guess we all gave them the triple no.
Yeah. I bet they're really upset right now,
I know, huh?
Yeah.
their talent has gone so downhill.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I kind of wanted to talk. So I want to talk about entertainment because I love that, but I do want to talk a little bit about the Starseed stuff. But I want BA to kind of lead it because I know that like I want to hear it. I don't know, BA. What do you know about like the whole Starseed cosmology and all that? What questions do you have? Because I know you love this stuff, but you don't know a ton about it. And
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about it at all, to be honest with you. I'm learning so many different things as of lately, on just all these different things. And I'd love to, I know in that other episode that we had, well, the first episode that we had with him as our guest, like we were talking about your book and things like that. And I probably asked this already in like the other episode, but I'm going to ask it again for people that didn't get to see it. So what made you get into everything that you're into right now? So you told Ford to take a hike and then all of a sudden you're like this alien. So how did this begin?
This is why I like it. It's her work. I love it. I love it.
In the galactic community, we don't like to be called aliens because it seems that's like a very I guess not a bad word, but it's not appropriate. So what we like to call ourselves is extraterrestrials.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's the-
extraterrestrial.
Okay, so
Well,
but that's a very good question. My whole life, like I think I've said it many of times, I felt like I was different. I didn't belong here. I launched for a home. I wasn't comfortable with my settings and why things were the way they were. I started questioning things from as early as 8. When I was 8 years old, I just started doing my own investigation. So imagine an 8-year-old kid who's supposed to be playing with toys was reading, books on like learning about history already, learning about philosophy and stuff. So I started around 8, 9, and 10. And then during my high school years, I started really reading a lot. Like I was a bookworm. I wanted to know everything. I wanted to know how things really worked, the secrets of the universe. And that's what led to me investigating all this knowledge and information that now I possess because of my desire to really just want to know why I felt uncomfortable living in this third dimensional low level reality with humans. I didn't fit in. Where I came from, we were all telepathic. We were all able to control the elements with our mind, like Jedis. Some of us were able to teleport. Some of us were able to control gravity and take off and fly like Superman. So it's like everybody was like a superhuman. And then all of a sudden I wake up and I'm born in this new vessel that's very handicapped, can't do anything. I'm like, wait, what happened to all my powers? So it was a shocker to me, so I had to like do my research to really understand why I was in this world that made no sense to me. And that's when I found out about different dimensions, different advanced extraterrestrial races, and the differences between them and us. And that's how my journey began.
That's so magical, huh, Taylor?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Oh my gosh. Incredible.
Yeah, I come from the planet of the gods. I come from a planet called Kolob, which exists at the center of the Milky Way. It's known by many names, but that's similar to the concept of the Asgardians when we watch the movie Thor. That's how Kolob is. It's a beautiful celestial kingdom inhabited by a race of immortals known as the Paladorians. Kolob's at the center of our universe. So that's when I realized that I wasn't from this world, that I was a god in human form. To put it, I guess, not to be, egotistical or prideful, but just to put it factual. Yeah, just to put it as it is. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean,
I'm with you.
No big deal.
I guess I could use the word guardian. We like to call ourselves guardians because there's many guardians, different level guardians.
So do you is it astral projection the key to being in touch with this world, or what do you meditation?
It's just going within. Travel? Yeah, you could do it consciously, or you could do it unconsciously when you sleep. But for the most part, it's just going within. If you could spend 20 to 30 minutes a day, even if you do it a couple times a day, sitting still, quieting your mind, turning off this chatterbox, and then just tapping into the subconscious, but then the superconscious kicks in, then you're able to, access information beyond this realm. But I guess you have to really be doing it for so many years to get to that level okay, let me just give you an example. When I first started meditating, it used to take me an hour to get to switch from the, beta wavelength to delta.
Alpha. Oh, delta.
Delta, which is, and then now it's like I just do it in 10, 15 minutes and I'm there. I'm like, whoa, it's because I've been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's easier for me, just like any sport or anything, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So I've always been into the mind, the powers of the mind and stuff, but I use it for good, of course,
I love that. I would like to learn more because I'm, I try, you call this the chatterbox, right? So my mind just doesn't shut off. It's just impossible for me to just kind of, just stop the thoughts from coming and just to quiet the mind and things like that. And do you have any tips and tricks on a beginner's version of when you first years ago started meditating and actually becoming good at it for the people that don't know anything about meditation?
Oh yes, actually, if you could, the first thing you have to do is build your concentration. So if you could focus on an item, any object, it could be as simple as an apple. I've always used an apple because it's just one of those things where you could just put it in the center of your eye, and you're visualizing it's red or green, you're tasting it, you're smelling it, and if you could hold that image for 30 seconds to a minute, then that means you're building your concentration. Most people can't even pass 20 seconds holding an image longer than 20 seconds. So if you could do it for a minute, then you're good. So the more you do it, the better you build your concentration and the better you get at it. So if you could start with, it could be a banana for you. I'm just saying anything, it doesn't have to be an apple.
Well, apple's good because it represents knowledge and wisdom. So then
that's why I used it. Yeah.
Yeah, the analogy there too.
So that's the trick of BA is to focus on an object and just see how long you could take, preserve that object in your mind without having anything intrude or any other thoughts coming in. And the more you do that, the more you're going to build your concentration. And then when you do that, then you combine that with breathing. Sometimes you might want to start doing the breathing first just to relax, just to kind of calm your mind. And, the best way to breathe is very slowly and being aware of your in-breath as you're inhaling. And then exhaling really slow. And the slower you do it, the better it is going to be. You're going to be more relaxed and more at ease.
Yeah. I started doing that like in the morning for 10 minutes to start my day. Like there's like a YouTube channel that I follow, and it's like a morning 10-minute, and they upload a new one all the time. And it's, you know, it kind of just guides you through it. I feel like since I started doing that, it really gets my day on like a positive start. As opposed to in the morning, I would automatically, because it's hard not to just look at my notifications on my phone and things like that. You know, it's just kind of, I'm a creature of habit. So I try to not do that. And just as soon as I wake up, just turn on my TV and do my morning meditation. And I feel like it's totally like changed, like just how my day starts, you know?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So see, you're already starting.
Yeah. I'm in the beginning stages, you know, I wish well, I'm not going to say I wish, we're going to take that out of the BA vocabulary. But I definitely foresee myself getting a lot better at it as long as I continuously do it, you know?
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah. With anything, you know? That's why we're all like models, you know? We're just like, yeah.
We are. I guess
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, as you were. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. That's amazing though that you said that, BA, because actually, so my thing in the morning for meditation, I try to do 5 minutes every morning as just my morning meditation. I do another one in the afternoon that's usually about 15-20 minutes. But every morning I set my iPhone alarm. I just want to make sure I tuck in that 5 minutes, and I have a mantra that I read. So I set my alarm for like 5 minutes and 10 seconds, and it starts to count down. I pull up the mantra, I read through it one time. It's about a paragraph long. And then for the last 4.5 minutes, I just close my eyes while concentrating on that mantra. And that mantra involves divine masculine, divine feminine energy, my guides, the gods, soul tribe, all these kind of things in there. And then for the next 4.5 minutes, it's not about, reaching Delta or Alpha state or anything like that. What it's about is doing inventory on what is in my mind that day. Like you talked about, the chatterbox, or like, the monkey brain, they call it. So I know that day, in that 4.5 minute countdown, if my mind is just full of junk, full of noise, whatever, I'm like, okay, there's some things I got to work on today, or, alternatively, if I feel calm, tranquil, peaceful, I'm like, okay, today's going to be relaxed. I'm not stressed. I'm not thinking about anxiety ridden issues. So just throwing that out there for you guys.
Yeah. No, I like to hear people's morning, things they do.
Yeah. For different things for different folks. We all learn differently.
Yeah.
Whatever works. Some people like to dance. They like to wake up and they play music and they do dancing, and that's their way of meditating. That's how they get into that Zen,
Yeah,
So,
well, I've actually added, so I used to do like karate when I was younger, and there's kata in there, which is similar to like chi movements and stuff like that. And I actually found in meditating that I like to almost improvisationally do kind of chi or kata type movements as I'm sitting in a lotus position, but I don't mind like moving my hands, feeling the kind of astral energy around me. Like if you want to create an orb of some kind, that relates to some chakra, sacral chakra, or the solar plexus or anything like that, you can create the orb and like kind of allow it to surround you and sort of try to feel it and imagine that etheric energy actually expanding and moving around the room. So for years I was very my hands were in a fixed position throughout meditation, whether it was on my lap or whether like this or like that. And I found as soon as I opened up my hands and started feeling everything with my eyes closed, it got a little more exciting.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
I made it up.
Oh, you did? That's not like a thing? Okay.
I mean, Tai Chi has been around for years, but
Yeah.
I kind of incorporated it into my own brand of meditation.
Well, it turns out that some of the Tibetan masters that are really advanced in this type of skill are able to actually generate plasma through their hands, through their chakras. They're able to create balls of plasma, and when they need to, direct it towards their enemy gets a blast and it just defeats them. Or they could direct it towards an item, and it like if it's a tree, it'll just take the tree down. So I've heard of stories like that, throughout history, there's been a few people who have attained the level of mastership where they're able to generate the plasma by bringing in, creating the ball of etheric matter, and then sending it that towards whatever it is that they're shooting it at, and then just destroying it, like that video game Street Fighter.
Hadouken. Yeah.
Hadouken, exactly.
Yeah,
Well, that's
yeah,
where
yeah.
they get it from. That's real. That's real stuff. There's actually people out there who have that ability, but these people stay hidden. They don't come out to the public. They live in the mountains. They're like wizards because they're like they're not even human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Bodhidharma living in the cave outside the Shaolin Temple. I think he lived in the cave for like 9 years, and was like the founder of Kung Fu, Wing Chun Kung Fu in like the Henan province.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm into, I don't know, I read a lot about like martial arts history and stuff like that.
Taylor, I feel like our guest could do that, what you're talking about with
yeah, I know. Ishmael, you seem like you would be able to wield energy fields and things like that.
I have played with the energy fields around me, and played with reality with my mind at times. I have. It's not that hard, and meditation is key. The better you are at clearing your mind and using your imagination, the more you're going to be equipped to maneuver things and really play with reality as if it's Play-Doh.
Yeah.
I want to
interesting. You want to learn how to do that, huh?
I do. I want to learn. That's so sick. Yeah, I want to learn how to do that. I want to put it against people I don't like.
Well, I just do it for defense. I drive without a driver's license, and every time it's been 20 years since I've had a license. I don't believe in having a license. Every time they pull me over, by law, they have to arrest you and impound your car. And I always do like a Jedi mind trick, or I blow or destroy their computer system with my mind, or make it malfunction, or create a distraction in the neighborhood. They get a calling and say, "Oh, we just had a robbery on so and so street," and then they say, "Sir, it's your lucky day. Here's your information. I got to go get this robber," and lo and behold, there is no robber. Just to create situations, and so I play with reality with like that, so I just do it for defense, just to keep me safe.
Yeah.
Good at you.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Wow.
We got to teach BA all the tricks, because I know there's some things that she can definitely do with that.
Yeah, I mean, if they have it coming to them, I mean, I can't control that. It's not my control.
We're creating a supervillain right here on the show.
Well, that's.
Oh my god.
Well,
go ahead, Ishmael. Go ahead.
I just want to say, there's throughout history, when a master or a wizard would pass on these secrets to their apprentices, they would always make sure that their apprentices were in a good, stable mental and emotional state in order for them to even understand this knowledge, because ultimately they don't want to create villains. They want to create heroes. So yeah, I mean, with this type of power comes a great responsibility. You can't just share the techniques with anybody.
You can share it with me. You can trust me. Okay.
All right. Only because I sense that you have a big heart.
I do have a big heart.
And that you'll use it for good.
I do. I really do have a big heart, Taylor. I do have a big heart.
I know she does. She has the biggest heart of almost anyone I know. So it's fun that you pretend that you don't. Yeah.
I love it. So, all right. So what else? So today is like the biggest manifestation day of the year. So I'm curious to our guest. I'll after I ask you this question, I'll tell you what I did today. But is there anything specifically you do on like a manifestation day, like today?
I do it every day. I'm always in the now. I'm very mindful of the present. So to me, it's like I'm just manifesting 24/7. But yeah, today there's a huge influx of energy that is, causing things to happen at a very fast rate because of the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction?
Yeah.
Jupiter-Neptune.
Oh, sorry, Jupiter-Neptune.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, both are Pisces.
And that only happens, every 200-300 years or 400 years?
It was something like, yeah.
It was like 18 something. I had it in my phone.
So
I think it said 166 years. I don't know though. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's been a while.
But it's also this influx of energy is going to last all the way till the full moon this Sunday, I believe, or the 16th of this month.
Yeah.
So, don't just think it's today. We have to just keep that and feel that feeling of what it is that we want to manifest all the way till the full moon in order to, reap the benefits. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. We talked about this earlier today, like Taylor, Sarah, and everybody. Like, I woke up and I just felt so good today. Like, I don't know why, but like all before today, last week, the week before that, I was so drained, so exhausted. Like, I had no energy. I was sleeping a lot. And I'm like, I'm not depressed. Like, I have nothing to be upset about. So what's wrong with me? And I couldn't figure out what it was. And all of a sudden this morning, boom, it was like, I felt great.
Those could also be ascension symptoms. We're getting major energies from the sun right now that is just bombarding us. Crazy CMEs coming off the coronal mass ejections. A lot of people are feeling some sort of tiredness throughout the day, waking up in the middle of the night, aches and pains, and a lot of that has to do with our genetic, our DNA that is mutating at the cellular level. So right now we're all going through a transformation. Talking about superheroes, I mean, I'm kind of excited to see how all this is going to unfold once, a little bit of our other junk DNA starts to turn on.
Yeah. That makes sense though, because I mean, besides being super duper tired, I had stomach aches that I never had before. I had crazy headaches. I never take Advil unless I have a hangover, which don't drink as much as I used to, so I don't really have them as bad. And I looked it up, and it was like a part of it, ascension symptoms, like your body's going through like a serious like awakening process, I guess.
It's because we're mutating.
Yeah,
we're going into the next phase of human evolution, which is called Homo galactus. So we will no longer be Homo sapiens sapiens. Well, not some of us will not. Some people will choose to stay that way, right? You can't always suppress the monkey brain, but at least some of us are going to have the opportunity to evolve to the next stage. And for those that do not evolve, we're going to be like superheroes, like superhumans.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with this conversation right now. Okay, so hold on. So so this is happening right now. So when essentially did this start, this ascension process for all of us? Like, when did this start?
It's a 45-year process, 40 to 50-year process. It's that's the time frame. It began in 1987, marked by what it became known as the harmonic convergence, and that's when astronomers and scholars were seeing that our solar system was aligning with the galactic plane of the Milky Way, which is the central sun, and that only happens every 26,000 years. So, based on their previous recollections and archaeological and anthropological evidences and findings, they realized that every time our sun comes into alignment with the center of the galaxy, we go through this field of energy called the photon belt. And what that field of energy does, it transforms the species into the next stage of human evolution. So those that are ready to ascend are going to evolve and become like superhuman like, and those that are not are just going to like wait till the next 26,000 years, which sucks for them. But it's an opportunity that we get every 26,000 years to go into the next level beyond just human. Yeah.
I'm ready.
This is something that has occurred 5,600 times in the past, based on this 26,000 year cycle.
Yeah. Now, I'm letting VA process that because I know I can read her mind. The purpose of Starseeds then are to prep people for the ascension, basically. That's why you go from a kind of utopian kingdom to a world of 3D reality with severe limitations, is to assist other people in this kind of divine rise. Is that a correct summation there?
Yes. So the Starseeds, like I mentioned in our prior episode, they are the advanced souls that decided to return back, or to come back into this third dimensional level of reality as a human being, right? Leaving behind their supernatural abilities and their amazing talents that they had up there, and coming down to these handicapped vessels in order to help everybody else reach that level. Yes, exactly. You're absolutely right. But not everyone's going to take the opportunity, because a lot of people on this planet, there's unfortunately a lot of people are just they're so hypnotized, they're so programmed, it's hard for them to break out of their programming.
Yeah.
So
that's like 95% of my family. That's why I'm the black sheep.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. Same here.
Yeah. But I wouldn't want it any other way. You know, I always thought like that I was the outcast and things like that growing up, and then there was something wrong with me. Now I'm like, no, I'm not going to say there's something wrong with you. I almost said that.
We want names.
No, I just like, you know, growing up, like I was like, okay, I just like you said, you know, you always felt different, right? I was the same way. I always felt different. I didn't know what it was. I just felt like I didn't belong. I didn't agree with anything they agreed with. I didn't agree with the news. I didn't agree with all the propaganda. I never did. And, you know, I'm just like, when people would talk to me about, you know, oh, do you know what this celebrity is doing and stuff? I'm like, yeah, of course, was a point in my life. I was like, you know, watching the Kardashians and all that other BS or whatever. I mean, I guess all girls went through that stage, but now I look at it, and I guess since like my awakening, I'm like, oh my God, like it's just to get your mind off of the real things that are going on. And that's what they want to happen. They want your mind to go into different things and to focus on things that don't really matter. You know, they want you to dumb down pretty much.
True. That's so true. Yeah. That's because they know that this rare opportunity was coming. And, you know, the powers that be don't want this next phase of evolution to happen. They don't want this genetic mutation to take place, because they know that when it does, you know, when these people reach this new level of power, I mean, they're going to take the situation into their own hands. You know, they're going to be able to have the ability to just do whatever they want with the powers that be, by virtue of having, you know, superhero powers, superhuman powers.
Now, okay, but superhero powers, that's pretty strong. So do you actually, I think we talked about this before, but I'm constantly curious about this with Starseeds, like how much those superpowers are actually going to exist on Earth in 3D reality, as far as like telekinesis, teleportation, you know, telepathy in general. Like, I mean, do you actually see people being able to fly and move at the speed of light and things like that on Earth in LA?
Yes, it had happened before. 26,000 years ago, we're all familiar with the stories of the gods, right? The mythology and the demigods and the wizards. Those were real stories. You know, Atlantis did exist. I think the last bit of Atlantis sunk about 950 BC, which is almost 9,000 years ago. But before that, for the last, 50,000 years, we had mortals, we had gods or immortals, and then we had everything in between, demigods and wizards. Yeah. And so all that stuff is coming again, brother. It's all going to come again. There's going to be different stages of exaltation or upgrades, depending on how souled the individual is. That will determine their level of power. So the oldest of souls, the ones that are coming from the highest dimension, like, the highest dimension is 15 in our cosmos. Okay, there's 15 dimensions. Those are the ones that are going to be at pretty much the cream of the crop. They're going to be like the goddesses and gods. And then underneath them, you're going to have like the superhumans, so like the mutants, right? With one power, like this person's a telekinetic, this person's a teleporter, and so on and so forth. And then underneath them, you're going to have like the wizard type of people, like people who could just heal you, people who could just sense things before they happen, like the gift of prophecy, send, frequency waves through their hands and communicate with the animals, like Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. And then you're going to have the average person who is just going to be a human without any powers. And then, those are the ones who are going to be like, wow, who are these people? So there's different names that are describing this next stage of human evolution. The scientists are calling it Homo galactus. The ancient stories that were left behind according to the original manuscripts before it was revised into the Bible and the Quran and the books that we know today, which is totally different than what read thousands of years ago. They revealed also
the Gnostic Gospels or the Vedic scripture, or
the Vedic, the Mahabharata, like 5,000, 7,000 year old scriptures. They reveal a different story to the times that we're living in. They say that sometime during the 21st century, or the beginning of the 21st century, that a new set of gods and goddesses would emerge. And that as a result of that they would usher in a golden age for the rest of humanity and do away with all evil. So that's what the original prophecies talked about, not this idea that this Christ is coming with the angels or Judgment Day. No, it talked about real people with powers that would emerge, and that they would be like the gods and goddesses of old, but actually more powerful this time.
So excited.
I love it.
I'm so excited for all of our powers.
I think I'm
I
either
know,
a
huh?
wizard or a demigod. I can't decide which one yet.
Well,
Time will tell.
well, when the solar flare takes place, the final release from the sun that's going to trigger the junk DNA into turning on. That's and then we're all going to know exactly who's who, you know. But from what I understand is that those that are going to be reaching their full capacity, again, the oldest of souls, they have the biggest heart. And the reason they do is because they're the ones that are going to make sure that everybody else underneath them, all the the superhumans and the wizards, use their powers for good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why they're going to be in charge. But it's because they also have the biggest heart.
I can see that. I can see that because I think one of the things that we have our little tribe of people, me and BA, and I think one of the things that really defines us is that uh, I like to say everybody's conscience is clear and everyone's heart is pure. And we're people that have been through a lot of things and may not have always been that way, but through just the process of living and learning and changing and growing and evolving, everybody's reached this kind of level of personal development and leadership and compassion that really just kind of brings us all together um, to a place of our divine ascension, divine femininity, divine masculinity. It's really exciting, and I feel like I kind of only connect or keep people around in my life that are at that level.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's actually a starseed trait. That's why you resonate with people like BA, with me, and others,
Yeah.
because we're actually we're the family that from the heavens that decided to come to the earth in these physical forms to help the rest of the earth humans.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
And I've said this before too. Like I've had such a tough time like relating to my family, and it kind of it kind of hurts me in a way because it's like I'm not trying to relate to them in any which way. I've tried for years to try to understand their points of view because I try to see everyone's way of thinking because I'm compassionate in that sense, but there's just certain things that I can't relate to anymore. And I feel like ever since, I found like this online community of people and soul family and things like that, it's like, wow, I'm like, these people are actually like really like trying to help me elevate in life. They really see my vision. They see my business. They see my dreams. They see my potential. And I never had that within my family, my blood family, I
Yeah.
guess.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Like, oh, she's just got another crazy dream. She's just a crazy person, she's got unrealistic expectations. Like, no, I have like really great ideas. You just don't see my vision. And then when my vision comes to life, they're like, oh, she wasn't kidding.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Be that beacon of light to everyone else.
Yeah.
You know what's strange though? Like, divisiveness is just part of the human condition, okay? Like, for example, I'm one of the only people that I know who actually come from an occult background. That's like my mom was the neighborhood witch, and she's teaching classes on white light, coven, elemental mysticism growing up, and single parent. It was difficult as a kid, kind of being raised in that environment. She's still a teacher, scholar on the Kabbalah, and writes books on tarot and cosmology and things like that. But me being 40 years old now, people are like, oh, that must have been incredible growing up. Like your mom's like a Yoda type, or like just some kind of witchy scholar. But the reality is that nothing disparaging against her, but like you guys, there's still black sheep elements that still come into my life, regardless of your background. Like my dad is a scientist, and he's very much into New Age spirituality and astrophysics and all that. But still, like, I'm on my own journey, and I'm a lot different from them. And it doesn't have to just be like, oh, your parents are Catholic or Muslim, and you're into New Age spirituality, and therefore you're different. That your parents could be into very similar things, but because they're your parents, there's differences. There's massive differences. There's massive rifts in your connection and all of that. And it takes a lifetime to overcome those things, so it's not just philosophical. It's something that's just in the human condition with families.
Do you go through like, you don't have to go into detail, but like, do you go into like similar things, Ismael, or do you feel like you're just like you stand out from like people that you're surrounded by?
For the most part, yes. It's rare that I meet other starseeds out, at work or when I'm at the shopping center or here in my community. No, everyone I've met, just like you, I've met through the this platform or other social media platforms. So.
Thank God for social media and like being able to do this, because like we didn't have this years ago. You know what I mean? We were on, I mean, I don't know. I know how old you are below me. Taylor, you and him are the same age, in the same age group. I guess we kind of all are. I'm 35. So back in the day, remember AOL? Do you guys have AOL?
I didn't. My mom had it. My mom had it.
AOL? Yeah. Okay. So I had AOL growing up. So it's like when anyone would pick up the phone in the household growing up, like it'd be like, and it would just interact. Like we've advanced so past that. It's not even funny. Like I went to high school and I had a Nextel beeper phone thing that would beep, 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 and like the phone, like, like now we have these like computers that we walk around with. Like it's crazy.
When I was in high school, people's cell phones were connected to backpacks. No, I'm just kidding. Like antennas on them.
Boy.
Yeah. Ismael's older than me. That's not. But there were no cell phones in my high school. I didn't get my first cell phone until I was in college.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, technology though, it's just advanced. Like you can just walk down the street and FaceTime someone from another country. Like, it's just, we never had that before. So it's just super convenient. Like if you don't want to be around people in your family or people that don't get you, just FaceTime someone, in LA. Yeah, what's going on? You get me?
True. Yeah, I guess that's the only good thing that came out of social media is us starseeds connecting with each other and networking. Because the original intent of social media was to keep people distracted and not keep people together anymore in person, by having them speak through a machine. And then having them get addicted and, the likes and all that stuff, and, which has to do with how they feel about themselves. So in a way, it almost like it backfired on them, because now the starseeds are connecting, they're uniting, and we're the ones that are going to lead the revolution and the awakening.
Yeah.
So
the government's going down. The starseeds are taking over.
That's right. That's what the prophecy said. Yeah. The original ancient prophecy. So
I mean, there's a lot of definitely a lot of signs. But here's the thing. Okay, I get a little wary of signs too, because since the dawn of time, there's been signs of world's end and changing of civilizations and all that. But there is definitely something going on right now. Empirically, that feels like there is like a shift. There's a cosmic shift happening on our planet, because like the old systems are just not sustainable, and we're seeing that even with like I mean, I don't want to bring up too much contemporary politics, but like even with Ukraine causing food shortages and oil shortages around the world, and all, it's like we're so interconnected now that it's just like a house of cards,
Yeah, it's all crumbling.
Yeah, it's all crumbling. That's all. I really don't want to get too into like the geopolitics of like this moment, because that'll date the podcast in like 3 months. But like, it's so fragile, and I think the moment it all shifts, it's either going to go one of two ways. We're going to go back to a commodity system like a gold standard, or we're going to go completely digital into crypto. And either way, it's going to have severe economic ramifications in the world, where I think the entire system might just finally collapse.
The entire reality is going to collapse. Yeah. We're entering fourth and fifth dimensional reality pretty soon.
How soon do you think this is going to happen?
Well, I predicted in my book between 2020 and 2024. So we're like in the middle of that. So it could happen any day now. And based on astrological alignments that are taking place, based on what a lot of mediums and highly intuitive people who are actually tapping into the energies, they're all saying that this is the year, that 2022 is really 2012. The shift in consciousness.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't get that. Okay, so let's pretend I'm stupid for a second. So why are they saying it's 2020 right now instead of 2022? I don't understand that.
2012 versus 2020?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Got it.
Because the Mayan calendar, just like the ancient calendars, who were the correct timekeeping systems that tracked the real revolution of planets around stars around parent stars, and so on and so forth, operates different than the Gregorian calendar. So the Gregorian calendar is off. They don't really use the real calculating systems. that the ancients used to use. So I think we're off by 12 years. So what happened? So that's why nothing happened in 2012, was because it was really like 2000, according to the original calendar, the Mayan calendar, it was like 1989 in 2012, or 1990 or something like that, 1992. So the real 2012 is now 20, it's 12 years later.
Wow.
Or 10 years, 10 to 12 years later. But I predicted in my book between now and 24. So we'll see. That's the vision I got when I was, in deep communication with the council. I call it the council, where I come from.
Yeah.
And this is telepathic communication, correct?
Absolutely. Yes. It's not channeling. It's just me entering my space, shutting off my human brain, and boom, I'm there, and it's just communicating. Yeah. Through telepathy.
So impressive to me. Love that. I wish I could just jump that energy just for 1 second, just to see how you do that. That would just be amazing.
Well, it's all this technology, the cell phones, the computers, everything is actually based on the inner technology. If we were to use more than just 4% of our genetic material, the other 96% BA is untapped potential. It allows us to do things that a computer does, but even better. We don't really need cell phones when you're at 30% of brain power, because then you can just communicate telepathically, right? You don't really need a car when you're at 50% brain power, because then you can just teleport. So all technology is a mimicking of the real biological technology that we are, which is all natural. And that's how powerful we are, by the way.
Good in you.
I know. It's unreal. One of the keys to unlocking it, I've realized through manifestation, meditation, all that, it's just simply confidence that comes through belief. Whatever it is that you believe, that you truly believe, it will happen, it can happen. We have the power to manifest that change. The caveat is it never looks exactly how you think. So, for example, this kind of revolutionary idea of transforming the world that everybody has, some kind of spiritual apocalyptic war, something like that, may seem, it may seem like something it's a vision that has existed since the dawn of time. Once again, that it's all going to be this kind of fire and brimstone bloodbath. But the reality is, the revolution may simply be people like the three of us on a podcast bringing these concepts to the masses, and then that having some kind of ripple effect where ideas become spread throughout different tribes of people, different starseeds, different spiritually awakened people. And it's not exactly like this kind of Hollywood cinematic depiction of some big bloody war. What are your thoughts on that, Ismael?
I agree. In fact, a lot of the Hollywood movies are actually trying to create some sort of a fear in the masses, where they want us to think that it's going to be some sort of apocalyptic scenario and we're all doomed, we're all going to die. But that's not the case. The truth of the matter is it's a revolution of the mind. It's a revolution in consciousness that is taking place. It's people like us planting seeds, activating, triggering other people, just putting thoughts in their mind that in a way triggers them to think out of their box and go out there and do their research, and then say, wait a minute, wow, this person was telling me something that makes sense. And then you just woke somebody up, and then that creates a domino effect, So the next thing you know, it's like we're going to reach critical mass. And I think we have to reach about 10%. Once we reach 10%, because we're all connected through a mind hive, the whole of humanity is. So once we reach 10% of awakened people, then it just kind of tilts it for everybody else. It's like a shift in consciousness, and then everybody will get it. That's called the 100th monkey syndrome, or the Maharishi effect in science.
So cool.
So we just need 10% people. If we could just get 10% of the people to wake the fuck up, then we're going to shatter the matrix within seconds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Once that happens, yeah.
It's such a joke at this point, the Matrix. It's just insane to me how just we're so programmed as soon as we're birthed into this world. It's just school and stuff. I just had just going through classes that we've had to take and stuff. It's they don't teach you to become successful. They don't teach you about taxes. They don't teach you about how to grow your own crops if you're into that stuff, they don't teach you about anything. They teach you about bullshit history that didn't even happen. So that's my thought process on that. So.
Right? Yeah, you can learn calculus, but you don't learn how to fucking, you know, open your own business, or like how to do like just basic accounting, or like how to open a savings account. You know what I mean? It's like very
The
strange.
fundamentals of life. It's like
Right.
doesn't exist in school.
Or the most important thing, personal development. How to, you know, that's the big thing now.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
let me ask this though, because this is we've all faced this on social media. The lower vibration of people who attach themselves to spiritual or you know, these kind of like divine ascension type causes, and you know, people who claim to be starseeds and then just kind of think they don't owe the world anything because they're just waiting for some 5D ascension, or you know, people who think they're spiritual, so therefore they don't have to like participate in anything of this earth because this earth is just some kind of inconvenience, or like, you know, something that's just keeping them from some next level ascension. Well, in a way, in some, in like, people can get a little bit delusional that like, you know, I don't have to do anything because I belong to this or I belong to that, and it's so much higher and better. I can just sit here and wait for that. What are your thoughts on that, Ishmael?
I believe that in order to become a true, efficient spiritual, you know, leader, master, whatever that we claim to be, that we are, you have to partake. You have to become part of your society, and you have to be an influence of positive, you know, positive directions. You have to do your best to, you know, help others, and wake as many people as possible. So you have to participate in your society, because if you don't, then what's the point of being down here when we volunteer to help the rest of the world ascend? You know, it's like you're defeating the purpose of the original call for coming down here. So it would make no sense. I think a lot of those people that you mentioned are probably people that are just kind of like in that Messiah ego complex, where they think they're above everybody else, and they don't feel like they need to they don't need to associate or do anything anymore. You know, to me, it's just ego. You know, to me, it's just ego, and a true spiritual leader will always be participating in the awakening of others, or doing his or her part in that. You know,
Right.
so that's my personal belief. But
yeah. I agree with that. I think we live. I think the point of, you know, 3D reality of this physical life we live is to try to do the best you can in every situation you're in. You know, if you're in, I don't know, like you're doing community service and picking up the trash with other people or whatever, you're not better than those people. Like, be someone who's a leader in that scenario. Be like, work with your fellow people and get to know them and listen to their stories. And if you're working with the spiritual community, be a support system. Don't feel like your brand is better than their brand, or like, you know, just that low vibrational judgment and ego needs to just go away. We need to, Starseeds or anybody in any process of divine ascension need to like completely disintegrate that side of themselves in order to get to those like higher dimensions.
in judgment too, we have to let go of judgment.
Yeah.
I don't even think you should even be consider yourself a spiritual person if you're still judging others or criticizing others or talking bad about others. And that, to me, that's low level human, you know, primitive, whatever you want to call it. Like, apparently last week I put out a video about, you know, not praying to masters or angels, but praying to that aspect of yourself, which is an expression of God's source, which is your higher self, your own divine spark. And I got a few people that were, actually more than a few, several people were triggered. And they were, you know, they were judging me, and they were saying you're such a hypocrite and this and that. How can you say that? You're misleading people. I'm like, well, no, I'm not. I'm actually trying to have people understand that their own sovereignty, you know, the power is within, not externally. And so I had a lot of people that were triggered, but it's okay. I'm not going to mention any names.
It's okay. I think it's a conditioning. You know what I mean? A lot of people are conditioned, and they're, you know, believe they don't understand, like you just said, power is within.
Exactly.
It's also language too, because maybe whatever you're tapping into philosophically is the same idea that they're tapping into. It's just you're seeing it or you're expressing it in a different way. You know, you're talking about, you know, potential inner power, and they're talking about, you know, some magic man in the sky, but like ultimately the idea is the same. It's about faith, it's about belief, it's about a life purpose, it's about you know, destiny, whatever it is. And we get so hung up on semantics, you know, just the language and all that. And it really sucks. But also people are just looking to be offended by everything too.
This is the offended era. Everyone's offended. I'm offended. I'm offended by you dressing them. I'm offended by your beliefs. I'm offended. You're just into the occult. I'm offended.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. Like, we're here uplifting everyone, okay? We're trying to do the right thing and show everyone the light, and you don't want to see it, so that's your problem. This is a you problem, not me.
Exactly.
Yeah. We were on a live one time talking about, I don't know, tattoos came up, and somebody's like, well, tattoos are low vibration. I'm like, says fucking who? You know, if you feel that way, don't get them, but like, why judge someone else who has them? You know, it's such a strange, I don't know, just such a strange mentality to look at what other people do and decide whether that's right that they did that or not, if it's not hurting you, you know?
Yeah, let people express themselves the way they want to express themselves, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like people also project a lot of their insecurities, and you might, you know, spark something inside them that they need to work on, you know, and that's why they judge you, because they're like, that it's just the way it is.
Oh, absolutely. That's my first instinct anytime somebody says something negative is to go right to jealousy. I'm like, there's obviously something that I'm doing, or like BA's doing, or whoever, that this person is envious of, you know? Maybe it's feeling like seeing us and feeling like we're very free, we're very open, we're not afraid, you know, we're very supportive, we're very loving, and all of those things can be a trigger, because like, I don't have loving, supportive friends. I don't have a community that I identify with, and it makes me mad to see that these people do. They're posting pictures about their friendship and hashtag soul tribe. Like, fuck those people, you know? And it just gets to them because they want that. And like, we've seen this since, you know, forever. Like, the kid who bullies everyone is just the one who feels unloved, you know?
Yeah.
I agree. It's all a projection. Yeah. They don't like seeing people happy, because they're not happy. So of course they're going to try to say something that's going to, you know, their mind, they're thinking, oh, well, if I criticize them or if I judge them, that's going to bring them from their state of happiness, you know. But if you show them that, if you show those people, if you don't even respond, you just show them no effect, that it doesn't affect you, and you're going to be happy no matter what. And, you know, eventually they leave you alone.
Yeah.
They get even more mad.
Or they get even more mad. Yeah. So what I like to do when it comes to like trolls and stuff, or people that comment some negative stuff, you know, I don't respond, because why give them your energy? They're not worth it. You know, I just delete them, block them, see ya. I never have to, you know, hear from you again. That's it.
I'm working on
our
that.
energy is sacred. You know, we don't need to give our energy away for free. It's going to cost you money for this. Okay?
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
I'm still trying to ascend out of my hothead mentality, you know, my protective mentality, because especially when people say shit to BA or Sarah or whoever else, it really fucking brings out a dark side of me. I'm like, I will.
It's a Leo masculinity in you.
Oh my God, yeah.
He's got to protect his kingdom. He's a lion, you know.
That's right. Yeah. The divine masculine has to be the.
I've had a few people say, I will not give you that guy's phone number or address. I'm like, okay, fine. Just don't give it to me.
Yeah. It's okay. We all deal with like things like that, but he's right. You don't want to even give them any energy. It's really not worth it.
Yeah.
We're still going to be.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I always avoid confrontations. It's just not worth it. You know, because when you react to things, that's letting them know that you're also on their level. You know, so.
And that's not remotely true. So.
Exactly. You just ignore them like they don't even exist. You know.
This has been amazing. I'm so happy we had you on here.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you.
This is great. Yeah, Ishmael, I guess we'll wrap it up. So you want to do any plugs, our cosmic origin, anything like that? We'll put the link below in for the Amazon link for your book.
Yeah, I mean, if you know, for those that haven't read it, it is a book, a guide for starseeds, a trigger, an activation, a book of ascension. It is just a book for everyone right now, for everyone who is interested in becoming part of a multi-dimensional reality. And also, I'm actually working on a second book, a sequel to that. So that's not going to be ready for another year and a half or two. We'll see. So in order to understand the second book, you have to first read the first book. Otherwise, the second book ain't going to make sense.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Bia, you got anything else?
No, I just think that we're all ascending, and I'm so excited. And I'll never call you an alien again. You're an extra. Yeah, you're a light being, and I'll never call you that again. Even though I love aliens, but yeah, that's about it. I just can't wait to all meet up in LA.
Me too. Me too.
Well, thank you for having me here again. You guys are the best. Very cool people.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll keep talking, Ismael. So thank you so much for being on here. And I will see both you guys soon.
Bye.
All right. Sounds good. Bye, guys.
Bye.